Hey, y'all, Alyece Smith here, and welcome to the Socially Awesome Podcast, where we empower mompreneurs to implement simple social media strategies into their businesses and elevate their online presence. I'm a mompreneur of three, an affiliate marketer, a network marketer, an influencer, a social media marketing agency owner, and your personal guru. I am here to give you tips, tricks, and tools that you need to build your social media business. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back. I am here today with Amy Oostveen. She is the owner of multiple Flirt Fitness locations in Michigan, and I'm so excited to have her today with me. Welcome, Amy. Thank you for joining me and talking to my audience today.
Yeah, what's up, everybody?
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you. So tell me, just give me a little bit of background on you, how you got into entrepreneurship. I know you own multiple locations and a coaching business, so online and brick and mortar. So I know you're tired. I know you're exhausted. And I know you're a mom. So tell us how you're killing all of it. How are you getting all of this done? How did you get into this entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, so I just knew my whole life I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I mean, I am a really terrible employee, and you can ask my old bosses from sales, and they would be like, yes, she is a terrible employee, and she just does everything that she wants to do. However, I did make them good money, so I will input that. I got them a lot of promotions. But anywho, yeah, so growing up, I grew up on a golf course, and at a really young age, my family didn't have a lot of money. And so I was in sports year round and always needed money to pay for shoes and my uniforms and all that kind of stuff. And I would go out on the golf course and sell golf balls. I would sell peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We had a trampoline and a pool, and people would come through on the fifth hole, and I'd be like, hey, do you want to give me $1? I'll show you my dive. Like, I would just try anything to get money from these people as they were coming through the fifth hole. I did penny carnivals on my porch all the time. So I lived in a neighborhood that there wasn't a ton of kids my age. So like my brothers had friends, my sister had friends, and I was like a little bit of a loner. Entrepreneurship for me was just like something I just always knew was in me. So I was doing that at a very young age. I got into network marketing when I was 19. Back in the day when network marketing was like insane. Network, like we used to close for like $10,000. Not today where you're like, oh, let's talk about your needs. Like we were just like, wow, like it was like a very cutthroat company that is no longer around. But
right.
Yeah. And then, I got to learn from millionaires and got to learn how to read people and understand people and run my own business and get organized and all of that stuff. So that just kind of like fed that and kickstarted that. After that, I was in sales, which, it's a job, but it's also essentially like you have to be self-motivated. You have to have your own organization. So that kind of carried through. And then in 2013, I opened my first studio. So it's always been in me. It's always lived in me. I just don't do well with other people telling me what to do, like I was saying before. So being my own boss is something that I love. And I was willing to work really hard and make the sacrifices to have that life versus the 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 in a cubicle. Like that's just not my style. So
right.
Yeah, so it's always been there.
I love that. And I love that it started so young for you, because I think that a lot of us don't recognize that it starts that young. It can start that young. And as a child, I know personally was kind of told that I was always giving pushback. I was not compliant. I was, all of the things. And a lot of it was, I'm a quick learner. I consider myself to be a Jackie of all trades. And I would learn things quickly, and I'd either get bored and move on. And as a child, that was always told to me that was just me not complying. So I love that you recognized that it was that young for you. That's awesome. So I know you've had a lot of challenges, especially in your brick and mortar locations with the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about the challenges you've gone through, not just the pandemic. I'm sure there's other challenges if you've been an entrepreneur since your first location in 2000 and you said 13?
13, yeah.
almost 10 years. So you've had a lot
We're gonna
of
be there next year.
you had a lot of challenges to overcome. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about those challenges. And I can already tell that you're a fighter, you're willing to fight for it, but how did you overcome that? What is your story of overcoming?
So, man, there's so much. I actually wrote a blog about this, and when I wrote everything down of how much I've overcome in my life, it was this moment of really like, wow, I guess I have really persevered here. Like, just to see it all on paper, because you just don't see all those things at the same time. And yeah, like you said, there's been so much. I mean, I'm a single mom, so personally, there's been broken relationships, and just navigating in my personal life, my own healing and my children's healing, and just what that looks like at home has been huge. In that aspect, how did I overcome? I mean, as a mom, you just have to, like, not overcoming is not an option when it comes to motherhood. For us moms. So it's like, you just really have to figure it out. And part of that was really looking in the mirror at myself as a mom of what do I need to bring to the table in order for them to heal, and what do I need to bring to the table for me to heal, and just being open for that to grow and to learn and to heal together. As far as business goes, so much, going into business, I wish somebody would have really said to me, like, just plan to fail a lot. Part of that was in me because I did have a background in sales, and, with sales, something that I always thought about in sales, I was never the best, but what I could do the best is I was always the best at numbers. So if the guy next to me, which there was a guy that sat next to me in sales, like if he closed 1 out of 5 and I could only close 1 out of 10, and we had a competition, I'd win every single time, because I would know, all right, I just have to see double the amount of people that he sees in order for me to close more business than him. So I'd still win those contests. I'd still run for that. And I just always paid attention to my numbers. So I did go into business having that on my shoulder of like, okay, this is going to be a little bit of a numbers game. But honestly, I went into business with, 3 sticky notes in front of me. One that said, you can do it. 2, another one that was like, no, really, you can do it. And a third one that was like, no, really, you can do it. I mean, so I didn't have this like whole business plan. I mean, it was just a lot of trial and error. And I wish somebody would have shared with me. I wish I could have heard failures from other business owners, because when I started to hear that, and when I started to look into that, and when I started to understand it, it was like, oh, that's just normal. All right. Failed. Okay, keep going. Failed. Okay, keep going. That didn't work. No problem. Like, and I had just these lists of people that had made it and that were still going when they failed all these times. So I then was able to really overcome failure in a way that I looked at it as opportunity, instead of, in a positive light, instead of negativity. So a lot of times we'll go into business thinking, you have to expect that failure. You just have to expect that it's going to have to happen. And when it does, you got to get excited about it. So I'm just the type of person, I really get excited when someone knocks me down. I get excited when something doesn't work, because I also know I'm that much closer to having it work. If I feel like I'm stuck in a rut in life, I don't get upset. I get excited because I go, ooh, something really big is coming once this phase, like,
right.
Fades, you know what I mean? And it's just like that it's just plugging away, and one step. So if something failed at business, it was like, okay, that didn't work. Here's how I'm going to shift it and change it and adjust it. And now we're just blazing forward. And then if something else didn't work, okay, let's learn. And I'd always look in the mirror first, always, 100% of the time, look in the mirror first. What could I have done differently? If I had a staff member quit out of the blue and they're angry, it was never me being angry back. It was always, what did I do to create that space that this is why they are leaving? And then I always worked on myself first. And then I would adjust things inside in order to know and understand and build a better, bigger, badder brand than I had before. So perseverance is just really my go-to of a word. For me, there's just never an option to stay down. It's always like, okay, all I can really do is stand up. And if I can't stand up, I ask someone to help me get up. And I've been in that situation, when COVID hit, with my business. I was about to have a record year in 2020. I was about to hit a $750,000 in sales. I mean, it was like I was like this, like I was hands off. Everything was automated. Everything was running. And COVID hit. I had a baby, right when our world shut down in Michigan. We were the last to open. 3 months after I had a baby, my husband filed for a divorce. Shortly after that, I let go of a couple people on my staff and went through an entire viral bullying for about 6 months, where I had police patrolling my house. I mean, it was insane. And that was a moment for me where I was like, wow, man, I can always stand back up, but I'm really feeling like I don't know if I can stand. So I asked for help. I held out my hand and I was like, I need somebody to hold me right now. I know I will get through this, but I'm not able to stand on my own. And I asked for help during that time. So whether it was reaching out to an old friend that I knew was, influencing people and that was great at mindset, whether it was my family to help with my children, for me to just have like good stability in my mind and in my heart for my kids. I mean, it was all around. I've never asked for, financially, because I lost everything. So I went to my church, my family, mentors. I mean, it was like, I called in all the people and called in all the things. I called in my tribe, like everybody at the same time, all in one time, to help hold me. And then slowly but surely it was like, okay, my mindset's good. All right, I'm cool. Okay, like I'm doing good at home. Like emotionally, my heart's in a good place. Okay, I can set boundaries here. Okay, I'm doing, and then eventually I just, I was able to walk on my own again. And that took a long time. But I just kept that in my head and in my heart of like, I know it's a jungle right now, but there's always another side, and in order to get to the sun, like if the sun is over here, I kept this image of here's the sun and here's me. It's like, no, I couldn't see it. Trust me, I couldn't see any of it. But I knew if I just kept doing this and I had people by my side, eventually I would be able to see the sun. And eventually I got there. Eventually I was able to do all the things that I'm doing now. So perseverance, overcoming, all that stuff, calling in my tribe, and just really staying grounded, staying true to my values, staying true to my priorities was always something that really mattered for me as well. So as long as I keep that priority list and keep my values straight and my why still there, that's what will always drive things to work out the way that they should in my life.
I love that. I love that. And I love that you have, well, everything you touched on, for sure. But then you also touched on, you always worked on yourself first. And isn't that somewhat what you do in your coaching business, that you help other women work on themselves first? You say you grow through what you go through, right? So in that you're saying,
yes.
So you have taken all of your own traumas, for lack of better words, all of your own trials, and turn them into a way for you to help other women redesign their life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about what that looks like for you, as far as like what you do, how you help other women in your coaching business.
Yeah. So as far as coaching goes, I mean, that's the whole structure and vision of my studios, is that we desire to be every woman's most loved and safe sanctuary. So that is driven so hard into the core of my brand of Flirt Fitness. And it's like coaching is really the offshoot, if you will, or like under that umbrella of that vision statement, because that vision statement it's a vision statement of my life. I personally want to be, any woman that reaches out to me, I want to be able to be a safe haven for them. I want to be able to be a safe space and allow them to be able to be vulnerable, because I think, we just don't have enough of that space as women. And I know that, with coaching, it can be very intimidating at times because you're around this successful person. But I think it's just understanding, like, I actually went through this, I actually went through the things that we're talking about. I built a business, but then I lost it and I had to rebuild from nothing. I went through this personal trial. I went through all of that. So it's, first and foremost, it's just relating, and it's allowing us to have the space to create a relationship first. Within that, then just giving them tools and understanding of this is how I did what I did. I'm not like the smartest coach out there, but I've just lived through it. So I can share the tools of what I did and how I got through that. And so much of it was based on relationships. So relationship comes first, priorities, values, and all the tools will come after that. So it's just, it's creating that space, and then it's allowing ourselves to be able to really figure out like in a clear way versus like work on your mindset. It's like, like how are we going to do this? What does that look like every single day for you? Know that failure is going to come, like standing side by side and really holding hands with somebody, not just like, okay, we've talked for 5 minutes and then bye, I hope it really works out for you this week. You know what I mean? Like just very relational and together and connected.
Right. And so that is for your coaching side, but you also help women with flirt fitness that aren't in your area, right? Can't they do flirt? Because you're helping women in a lot of different areas in looking at themselves first and their personal development, growing through what they're going through, but also in feeling comfortable in their body and their skin and creating that safe space for them too at Flirt Fitness. So I love that you're creating all of these safe spaces, but just so my viewers can hear, because I'm so intrigued by the Flirt Fitness and, having fun while working out, because gym anxiety is real. A little bit about the at-home program that you have too, because women anywhere could do that, right?
Yeah.
All over the United States or heck, even every country, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just launched it in September. I'm super pumped about it. It only took us 9 years to get there, but we had a lot going on. So yeah, anybody can do it from their living room. Some of the stuff you do have to have a pole for, and some of it you don't. So it's anything from meditation, warm-ups, workouts, just floor-based movement. And then there's also pole tricks and pole movement, but it's really about, what we believe and what our brand is, which is drawing out the sensual side in a woman. So you're not going to go through a meditation like what you find on Headspace. It's going to be very geared toward a woman's heart. So if you identify as a woman, our workouts, our programs, our meditations, all of that stuff is designed for that soul. So you're going to hear meditations that are going to gear toward that. You're going to see workouts that are geared toward the way a woman's body is created and made. You're going to see, different warm-ups and workouts that are geared toward curvy women, some that are geared toward fit women, just all these different areas that any woman, anybody that identifies as a woman can come into and just really draw out the sensual side. So that's what makes us different than like anything else that's online, because there is stuff that's online in the pole industry, but we're very different in the fact that that's why it's labeled Flirt at Home, because it's like us coming into your living room. So when you do it, you might want some like candles, pillows, like really actually do it in your living room, because you're going to feel empowered after you do it.
I love that. And I'm sure you can make recommendations on where they can get a poll and things like that for them to, if they to incorporate all of the moves. Like I said, I'm personally intrigued. So I'm looking around my living room, like, where are we going to put this poll? So, I'm sure my husband would be all game if I could just find a spot, right? I mean, he would be like, sold, I'll buy it tomorrow. But I love the idea that it's so much more than that. And it's geared towards the confidence, building the confidence, the sensuality. And it's so much more than just exercise or just polling, and like you said, that's what makes you different.
Yeah, sure.
You obviously have a passion to help women from the inside out because of your coaching business. And then, but I love how you've incorporated it into your Flirt Fitness as well. So tell my people where they can find you, how they can get with you. I will link all of your things in the show notes as well. But in case they want to know how do they get in touch with Amy?
So you can check out the business website at flirtfitnessgr.com. You can check out my personal website at amyoostveen.com. And then I'm on Facebook under Amy Oostveen, and then on Instagram, Life Redesigned by Amy O, as well as Flirt Fitness Studio GR and MK. with another one coming on the way, another studio. But yeah, otherwise pretty much my name and then Flirt Fitness. There's no other Flirt Fitnesses and there's no other Amy Oostveen. So if you just Google that, trust me, and anything that's purple. So you'll see my name and then Flirt name and purple. That's
yeah,
me.
we'll make sure, like I said, I'll make sure all of the links are in the show notes. And then if we release the video of footage, on live or whatever, then I'll put it in the comments. So depending on how you're watching this or listening to this. But thank you so much for joining. I have already learned so much from you. I love reading all of your content and your Do It or Screw It course, which I will also put the link in the comments as well. Amy has a free Do It or Screw It course, and it's I don't even want to spoil it. I just want to tell everyone, just check it out. It's free. You might, and get a little taste of Amy and then decide you want to work with her, because you will. After listening to that course, I was like, I love this. I love this.
Thanks.
I love the boldness. I mean, that's me. And the fact that we're not going to make excuses. We're going to get people to help lift us up, and we're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a lot of women's downsides, is they don't have that support, but they also don't know how to ask for that support. So I love that you called in your tribe, and I'm growing through that myself. So thank you so much. And until next time, I'll talk to you soon.
Bye. Good. Thanks. Bye.
Hey, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I'm Alyece Smith, your host, and let me tell you how you can get a free social media audit from me. Make sure that your profile is optimized and you're ready to build. Take a screenshot of you listening to this episode, throw it in your stories and tag me. You can find my handle in the show notes. I will share it to my entire audience, and you will be entered to win one of the 5 free audits that I'll be doing every single month. Number 2, if you found any value out of this episode or any of my episodes at all, please feel free to leave a review. It is the best compliment you can give. Lastly, make sure you check out the link to get into my free community, Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs. It's in the show notes. We go live in there weekly with guest trainings and more. Until next time, make it simple, make it social, and make it awesome.